Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United versus Leicester City. Round 16 of the Carabao. It is all happening. Yes. Joe Smith is here. And it's all changed, isn't it, since the last preview?
This is a collective.
It's all happening.
It's the first managerial... Well, it's the first game since Ten Hag got sacked.
Yeah,
there's no other way to say it, is there?
And quite possibly Ruud van Nistelrooy's only game as caretaker manager, if it's the possible. Reports are to be believed that Ruben Amorim is going to take over almost any day.
Yeah.
What do you think that does? We're going to get into the sort of the nitty-gritty of this game. What do you think that does for the players going into this game? Does it give them a point to prove? Does it give them a sort of new lease of life? Is there any added pressure? Because, you know, Ruud van Nistelrooy is so determined to make sure his only game as manager is a successful one. What do you think it means?
I think it means that the players will hopefully have a little sort of sense of relief, a bit more relaxed, a bit less sort of uptight. Like some of the misses we've seen recently are above and beyond the players not being good enough. It's like there's something going on mentally with these guys, and I think it was the stress of the situation they were in. And you know, they're not blameless in that situation. They sort of did the majority of the work to put themselves there. But you know what it's like as a football fan when a manager's on the brink of being sacked. Players do inexplicably bad things for weeks on end, and no one knows why. Like Dalot missing that chance at the weekend, I would have scored that. Yeah. So the fact that Dalot's one of the better fullbacks in the league decides he can't hit the target from 8 yards out, that's because it's because of everything going on at the club at the moment. So I think Van Nistelrooy coming in should at least, if nothing else, it doesn't look like he's getting a job interview here. This is very much an interim role. If the reports about Amorim believe that deal's done. But if nothing else, I want to see a relaxed, excited, energetic football team. That's the minimum I expect.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Ruud van Nistelrooy is a club legend. It doesn't matter what happens in this game. He's always going to be revered and loved by the Manchester United faithful. And I think he's sort of, choose my words carefully here, but I don't think he's been tainted by what has happened with Erik ten Hag. I don't think people are looking at him, certainly from the fans I've been speaking to you and others as well, of saying, oh, it's all Ruud's fault. You know, the wheels were coming off well before Ruud van Nistelrooy arrived at the club, and you can't blame it all on the assistant.
I actually think the performances this season on the whole have been better than last season.
Okay, yeah.
I know the results have been worse, but watching us week by week, we make more chances, we've conceded fewer shots on average per game than last season, we seem to control games a bit better. Somehow the results have got even worse, and we haven't been good enough for it to, you know, obviously keep Ten Hag's job. But I don't think we've got worse this season. I just think we've had a bit worse luck, and somehow we've conceded ridiculous goals.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that opportunity like Michael Carrick did. I know he was a bit longer as a caretaker manager, but just sort of almost leaving with your head held high. You come in, you've done a job, it's not quite worked out the way everyone hoped, taking over the team for a game as well while the new manager comes in, and if you can go out with a win, that's even better, and people, you know, will love, like I said earlier, will love Ruud van Nistelrooy no matter what, but it'd be a good opportunity for him to walk away with a bit of dignity and everyone to go, okay, yeah, you know, it was good to have Ruud back at the club despite the fact it didn't work out the way we wanted it to.
And it'll be a nice moment for, I mean, people at home as well, but everyone in the stadium who gets to see him walk down the touchline in his suit. Well, he might not wear a suit, but as the manager of Manchester United, that'll be a nice moment.
No, I'm looking forward to that myself. Obviously, we wish it had worked out with Erik ten Hag, but it didn't. You spoke earlier about the pressure on the players and a bit no pressure, and I do expect Old Trafford to be up for this. I do expect the crowd to be up for this, and I expect the players to be up for it. So, in a perverse way, there is a bit of pressure there. I think they've got to, but you think they'd be able to sort of go into this game with a bit of confidence as well, because not only is it a game where, okay, there's a change of manager, there's you know, maybe that gives you a little bit of a lease of life, I'm not sure, you want to impress the new manager coming in or whatever, but also you're going up against a Leicester team that are beatable as well. I know we'll get to the opposition in a minute, but there's sort of, the stars are aligning here where you think this could be a potentially good game for Manchester United and the players to take part in.
They've got to win. That, like, we can't take so much, I know you aren't, but take so much pressure off them that they just sort of have a laugh. Like, this is, if we lose this game, we're out, and this is the most winnable trophy that we're in, and I want to win a trophy. So I'm hoping the pressure, like I said before, of the situation that players find themselves in with a manager that's failing, that pressure won't be there anymore. But also now, let's see a bit of motivation, a bit of energy, that you're now basically sort of proving yourself to the new manager. If you know Ruben Amorim's coming in, and there's plenty of positions where no one's job is safe, unless you're a centre-back, where we're probably going to need one more than we have done recently if we're going to be playing three at the back. You know, you're probably going to get a game there. But if you're a midfielder or an attacker, we've just lost one of those positions with the extra defender. So like people like Ugarte, Xerxes, Højlund, Rashford, Ahmad, maybe even Bruno, although less likely. All of these players are fighting for their place in Ruben Amorim's new system. So I think I want to see a relaxed and sort of low pressure kind of performance, but I want to see intensity and I want to see work rate and effort. And if we do that, I think we should be able to win this game. But I don't want them to be so blasé, wow, ding dong, the witch is dead, that they don't put up a shift in. Because Leicester aren't terrible. They're not doing very well, but they've still got danger men, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. And also, you mentioned about the Carabao. It's been a pretty good trophy for United. Not necessarily in terms of winning it, but even post-Fergie, we always tend to do relatively well in getting to the latter rounds. I think Ollie got to a couple of semi-finals.
A few semis, haven't we?
Yeah, I think even David Moyes got to a semi-final of the Carabao Cup. I know it's not exactly, get the bunting now and let's have a parade. We got to the semi-finals of the League Cup. But we do tend to get to the latter stages. And we obviously won it as well under Erik ten Hag, under Jose Mourinho too. So it is a competition that United have done well in over the years, even when we haven't been doing well in the league or in the FA Cup or in Europe or whatever.
And trust me, that was the only semi we had when David Moyes was in charge.
Nicely done. Let's get into predicted 11s then. Let's move on from that filth. Talk us through your 11. Go on. Right. This is the team you think Erik ten Hag will... No, he won't.
Oh!
Sorry. I'm sorry I did it, I'm sorry. No, don't. Yeah, don't cut it out.
I'm not here anymore.
I need to learn. We're in the Ruud van Nistelrooy era now, and long may it continue. This is the team that Ruud van Nistelrooy will pick for the visit of Leicester.
I'd love it. Do you know if we saw Ruud van Nistelrooy with an earpiece in,
and
then all of a sudden you see some blurry kind of CCTV footage of Ten Hag sat in the Old Trafford car park chatting to him and just telling him what to do in a car.
Was it Chris Amas?
Yeah,
he was doing it when he went back to his locomotive Moscow or someone. Someone was giving him info from a laptop in Moscow.
That's
what ridiculous.
I want Ten Hag to be doing. Team-wise, I've gone with Onana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, and Amas. I think that this is a good time to bring in a new player, and I think that that's the sort of thing that Van Nistelrooy can do to really get the fans on side quickly, is promote youth, show yourself to be understanding of United's principles.
That's a really good point.
And I think it's a small win, and it's only basically one of the squad that I've got there on the screen isn't a first team player, but it gives you a lot of praise and a lot of credit in the bank from United fans. Bring Harry Amas in and give Dalot a bit of a rest as well, because he's not been playing particularly well recently, and he's not had a rest in a year. He plays every game for us because we've always got fullbacks injured. Midfield, I've gone Ugarte, Eriksen and Bruno. Again, I think we've got a chance to rotate a little bit in there, but it's still very strong. And then Ahmad, Højlund and Rashford. I think Garnacho, whilst it's this horrible kind of, it almost hypocritical thing that I'm about to say here, is on the one hand he's the only player that we have that looks dangerous, but on the other hand he's too greedy and wasteful at the moment. He's having 6 or 7 shots a game, which is great, but that's at the expense of playing his teammates in, looking for Højlund in the middle. I want to see Højlund with a player around him in Ahmad, who's actually going to try and find a pass to him. So I'd give Garnacho a bit of a rest as well. He doesn't need to play every single game. And I want to see Højlund and Rashford get their shooting boots back on. So, yeah, there's my team.
Yeah, I sort of understand. I definitely understand where you're coming from, and I kind of agree with it. I think some managers do like to do that when they're a caretaker, don't they? Give a youngster his debut or his opportunity, and then
proper PR.
Yeah, it's like, he made his debut under me or whatever. I gave him his chance. So I get that idea, and it's weird, this one, because there's part of the thing is Ruud van Nistelrooy is just going to focus on this game. I need to win this football match. That is the be all and end all. Or does he have to think about the game at the weekend against Chelsea as well and go, I don't want to knacker all the players for the whether that it's Ruben Amorim or anyone else who comes in or whoever's taking over for the weekend, even if it's it ends up being Ruud van Nistelrooy. Do I have to think about that? So I'm not quite sure. I've gone with a bit of a mix. My back four, I've got Onana in goal, obviously. I've gone with Johnny Evans coming in just to give Lisandro Martinez a bit of a rest. I've gone with Dalot and Mazraoui. I get your point about bringing in Harry Amas, and he might end up doing that. Or he might even just give him half an hour at the end or whatever. There's an opportunity. I think when I was thinking about this Predicts 11, I think Ruud van Nistelrooy might mix it up even at half-time or with 30 minutes to go, give some more minutes to other players, so I had sort of half a mind on that. We've got Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno in midfield. I wouldn't be surprised if Ugarte didn't start but featured, with the Chelsea game in mind as well, and the fact that I don't think Casemiro's going to start against Chelsea. I'll be honest with you, I don't.
Do you not?
No, I think it'll be. I think
too busy in midfield.
I think Ugarte will start against Chelsea, so I'm thinking he might just give Ugarte half an hour and start with Casemiro. Eriksen plays every game now. That's just the law. I don't, you can't argue that. That's just the way it is. I've gone with Rashford, Xerxes, and Diallo. And again, part of me's thinking about Chelsea. I think Højlund starts against Chelsea, and I'm wondering whether he just gives him a little bit of a slight breather or brings him on with 20 minutes to go. Diallo, I'm basing this on just seeing Ruud van Nistelrooy with his arm round Diallo for the Fenerbahce game. I think he'll pick him, just based on that.
Just on that one.
On that one image. Yeah.
One interaction.
I'm going to go with he loves him.
He loves him.
He's his favourite player. And if he ever had his way, he'd have started every game.
He'd adopt him.
He'd adopt him.
Yeah, if he had his way, he'd adopt him.
He'd be called Ahmad Van Nistelrooy. Yeah. So I'm going with that. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Let us know what you think, whether you agree with Joe or myself, or you've got your own team. Let us know what you think. Leicester City.
Yeah.
Yeah. Premier League winners. Yeah. FA Cup winners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big boys.
Big balls.
Is it East Midlands, Leicester?
Yeah, you're looking at a sort of East Midlands, little very central Midlands, really.
Is it?
It's Midlands. They're a Midlands boy.
So, it's all the same, isn't it? On that neck of the woods.
It's not far from Worksop. I see what you're getting at.
Right,
trying to diss me.
I wasn't trying to diss you.
And say we're all the same.
No, I wasn't. If anything, I was dissing Adam McCullough.
Leicester is the same, is it? Well, that's the thing.
You and Mac could just basically live in the same town.
Well, I'm East Midlands, he's West Midlands.
Is that big? It has an East and a West?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's like Carolina. Leicester, they're a good side. But before that, Jay, I want to talk to the people at home and ask them to send in their score predictions for the game. Film yourself. Film a little video, giving us your score predictions. Who's going to score, how the game's going to go. Let us know and send it to paddockmatchday@gmail.com. And we put those videos at the start of the watch-along so you can start the matchday experience with us. Send them in to paddockmatchday@gmail.com. Thank you very much. Leicester, I am worried about these. I watched that Tottenham game on the opening day of the season. They were the worst team I've ever seen in the first half.
Yep.
Barely even a football team. They didn't exist. And second half, they should have won. So they're still fighting them yet. And I think I know you've gone for a strong side as well. I've gone for a strong side. But I do think that if we sort of don't take them seriously, they'll catch us out. They've won 2 of the last 3 games. They're only 1 place below us in the league. So it's not like they're terrible and we're great. We really have to take this seriously, I think.
It's kind of insane, isn't it, that Jamie Vardy's got 4 Premier League goals. Has he got like double our top scorer in the Premier League this season, which is insane. The kid whose name there you can pronounce, Facundo Buonanotte. He's in my fantasy team. He's been racking up a few points.
Has he?
Yeah, he's done well.
I love that.
The lad.
Say his name.
We say this every week, right, about almost every opposition. On paper, we should beat them. We're a better team. No disrespect to them, but you'd expect Manchester United to have too much quality for them, and invariably that doesn't come true. But it does feel a little bit different this week, doesn't it, with Ruud van Nistelrooy as well? Speaking
of that, is this the first time since it happened that Ruud van Nistelrooy and Jamie Vardy have shared a pitch? Because Vardy broke Van Nistelrooy's consecutive games goal-scoring record in the Premier League.
Yeah, I remember that. Didn't he do it against us?
Yeah, in 2016-17, whatever it was.
I think it'd be the time they won the title, so 15-16.
Yeah, he broke it against us. That was Ruud van Nistelrooy's record. I wonder if he'll trip him, stand on his Achilles, maybe switch one of his Rebels out for a sugar-free one before the game. Yeah. Something to put Vardy off. Because if I'm Ruud van Nistelrooy, I hate Jamie Vardy. I think, which you're saying, you think actually Ruud van Nistelrooy might pick himself for this game. I'm not saying defense. He won't. I can't. He might
be our starting centre-back. That's what he's saying.
He won't do it.
Yeah. Imagine if he was. Imagine if he was our starting centre-back in the first minute, he just elbowed Vardy in the jaw.
Yeah, breaks his cheekbone. Just gone immediately. He stood over him, spitting and pissing on him and that. I don't know. Sorry. Well, if he hates him, he hates him.
Spitting and pissing and
right, get your score predictions out because I've lost it.
He's lost the plot. It's what happens when you keep changing your manager all the time.
It sends us do this anymore, Joe.
As Joseph said, send us your score predictions. Joe, give us yours.
Hammer him. I'm going to go Manchester United 2, Leicester 1. I think we'll look good. I think we'll score a couple of goals and we'll go, hey, this is what it's like to win. And then Leicester will have a better second half. And
do we have extra time in this?
I don't think there's extra time anymore.
Penalties?
Yeah, there's no extra time in the League Cup anymore, in a cost-cutting measures by the Labour government.
I think I think it'll be a draw, but we'll win on penalties.
Go on, Sim.
I think we'll come out of the blocks, right? Yeah, we'll get like into a 3-0 lead or something. And everyone will be like, this is what we've been missing. This is what happens when you get rid of that ball
and like
fraud and all that.
Stuff.
Yeah, and then Jamie Vardy
will get a ball cap out his shorts and put it on when he scores and go like that.
And then United will just capitulate and Jamie Vardy will score an hat-trick and everyone will be like, this is why we're in the league. This is why we're get Ruud van Nistelrooy out. And then we'll go to penalties and we'll win.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I
can see that. I actually can see something like that without the extra bits. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, make sure if you've not done so already, go and check out Joe's tactical video looking at Ruben Amorim and what he's going to bring to Manchester United. Also, go and check him out on the Sloppy Joe's podcast. That's been Joe Smith. I'm Jay Moy. This has been the preview for the Carabao Cup game against Leicester City. Thanks for watching.